So today, most of you probably know what this is. This is Scrambled Jeans recipe box that I treasure. So today I went through and I tried to find, and I found her, and she's got it written on very old paper. I think I need to start laminating these. This is her coconut oatmeal scotchies. I used to make these at Christmas time all the time. So I thought I'd put these together and show you some of our old family recipe. First, we're going to cream together, she says, a cup of shortening. Now, I've got about 3/4 cup of Crisco, which she always used, and my mom always used. That was their favorite shortening to use. And I got about 1/4 cup of butter. I just think the butter gives a little bit more flavor. If it was me, I'd probably make it all with butter, but I like to try to stay close to the way she used to make it. We're going to cream together the butter, a cup of packed brown sugar. I found these ramekins are actually a cup measured in there, so it came out well for me. So we got a cup of brown sugar, make sure it's packed. You can use light or dark, I use light. A cup of white sugar, and we're going to 2 eggs that are at room temperature. Always try to have your butter when you're baking and your eggs, anything that you're going to use, room temperature. It just comes together easier and you'll get a better product in the end. So what I need to towel. Okay, so we're going to cream together all of this. Ooh, there we go, making a mess. This towel's going to be gone. Let's cream all this together. Now, if I was in Grandma's kitchen, we'd be using her KitchenAid. I just want you all to be able to see what I'm putting together, so I'm using a glass bowl. But anytime I walked into her kitchen, especially on the weekends, always in the holidays, that KitchenAid mixer was always on her counter. She was making cookies, cakes, pies, all kinds of things. Hers was a lot older than that one now. Okay, so we're going to cream all this together. Make sure it's nice and combined. And I see why she uses a mixer, it's a lot easier. It is shortening. And we're going to have to put this in the refrigerator for at least 30 minutes, because this, with the shortening, because it's not, it doesn't harden at room temperature. It's just soft. It's not like butter and such that in the refrigerator is nice and hard. This has got so much shortening in it. These things will spread very easily. So that's why you want to put it in the refrigerator, get it cold, so when it bakes it doesn't spread all over the place. Okay, so there's our wet mixture. I've already got 2 cups of all-purpose flour, not self-rising, all-purpose. We're going to add in a teaspoon each of baking soda and baking powder. Give those cookies some lift. Okay, and about 1/4 teaspoon of salt, she says, yes. Some people think it's crazy putting salt in baked goods, but it actually brings out the flavor. So we mix that together. Get that all combined. Okay. So now we're going to combine the wet and the dry. First, I'm going to put in about a teaspoon of vanilla. This is my homemade vanilla. And I think it's easier to go ahead and mix the oats. Got a cup of oats and a cup of coconut. I think it's easier to mix it now in the dry goods instead of putting the dry in and then mixing them in, because they don't always, you'll find some cookies that have a whole bunch more of one than the other. So it's always good, I think, to mix it now. So about a cup of sweet coconut. And she says about a cup or 1/2 cup of butterscotch chips. I've got just probably half a bag left from the haystacks I made the other day. So I'm going to put about all of it in there. She's probably going to be very upset. And I'm going to mix this all together. That way when I put it in here, it's more combined. Like I said in one of my videos before, the holidays were always my favorite time, especially for the food. My grandma, Jean, she's always had all kinds of cookies and cakes, pies. Grandma Blanche, my great grandmother, she was famous for her caramels. I think Mom's got a couple videos on here too with that she did grandma's caramels, made caramel apples, and actually used those caramels to make turtles or gophers, some people call them. We always call them gophers, or turtles growing up. Okay, so I got all that together. I'm going to put just about a third of it in, try to get that combined, bring that together. Another third in. I can already smell that coconut. Like I said, these aren't real Christmassy looking, but this is an old-fashioned recipe that she did, that she always made at Christmas. So our family always considered them Christmas cookies. You can make them any time of the year, I'm sure, especially if you like coconut. And there's the remaining. I was actually thinking some crushed pecans might be good in this too. I might have to change the recipe up a little, adapt it, make something new out of her recipe. But today we're going to stay with the original. Yep, now I see why she liked her KitchenAid mixer as much as I do. Work out your arms in this. Now I can smell the butterscotch too. Start to come together. Okay, so it seems nice and firm, but I'm not going to take a chance. I'm going to, every time I've made it, I've always done the way Grandma June said, put it in the refrigerator and let it sit for a while. She'd say set up. And we're going to bake these for about 10 minutes at 350 degrees. I've already got the oven preheated or preheating. Not sure it's up yet. Okay, so I'm going to stick this in the refrigerator and we'll be back in about 30 minutes. Okay, so it's been about 30 minutes. The cookie dough has firmed up pretty good. I'm just going to use my scoop here and scoop it out on the tray. Make sure you're using something, either a Silpat nonstick paper or parchment paper to bake these on. And any cookie, they'll come out a lot better. They're not going to be sticking to your tray and have to spray the tray continuously. Actually, I'm going to space these out just a little bit more, because I'm not sure how far these are going to spread this time. First tray, I usually try to spread them out a little bit more than I usually would. And if they don't spread out a lot, I know I can put a few more on there. So let's test one. So we'll just do 4 rows of 3. An even dozen here. And so, like I said, we're going to put them in a 350 degree oven. They're going to bake for about 9 to 10 minutes. I'm going to check it about 7 or 8. Always check early. Everyone's temperature on their ovens cooks differently. This one's crazy. Actually, I have to set it at 360 to get 350. I need to have it calibrated. So, okay, there's our cookies. I'm going to put this back in the refrigerator, keep it cold, put these in, and we'll be back in about 9 minutes. Okay, so the last of the cookies are out. We made about 3.5 dozen, close to 4. I ate a few. So, just depends on the size you make them. When I take them out, I don't know if you saw that, I like to just give it a little bounce when I set it down. That way they kind of sink down and go flat. Keeps them a little more gooey on the inside, I think. I'm gonna let them sit here for about 10 minutes just to cool off a little bit on the tray, then I'll put them onto the cooling rack. So these, like I said, I've already tasted them. My grandmother's coconut Oatmeal Scotchies. I want to tell you, these things are delicious. Hope you enjoy them. Try them out for Christmas, and I'll see you again on the next video.